I will call the meeting to order. We'll have the invocation by Commissioner Ski.
Heavenly Father, thank you for this opportunity to serve our community. Grant us wisdom, fairness, and respect as we make decisions tonight. Let's seek what is best for our city and its people. In your name.
Well, let's have roll call.
Commissioner Marshall?
Here.
Commissioner Thorne?
Here.
Commissioner Ard? Here. Commissioner Max? Commissioner Jordan? Commissioner Hawkins?
Here.
Commissioner Ski?
Here.
Commissioner Newsom?
Has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes?
Yeah.
Is there a motion?
Second. Commissioner Thorne? Commissioner Ard? Aye. Commissioner Marshall?
Aye.
Commissioner Ski?
All right, the first item is PL 1961, Delta Landing Commercial Subdivision Phase 8. Request for final plat approval of Delta Landing Commercial Subdivision Phase 8, one lot, 2.17 acres. The subject property is located on the west side of McIngvale Road, south of Pleasant Hill Road. The property is currently zoned for the Kruenen representative. Commissioner report and comments.
Yes, sir. This is PL 1961. As you mentioned, it's Phase 8, Delta Landing Commercial Subdivision. Nick Kruenen is the engineer on record. Johnny McBride's here tonight as the owner of the property. This is a one commercial lot of 2.17 acres on an existing zone PUD for Delta Landing Subdivision at Section 31, Township 2, Range 7. This is similar to all the rest of the commercial lots we've done in their downtown area. This is their final mixed-use building, and so it'll be on the southern side of the current building under construction. So this will be the final significantly large mixed-use building in the downtown. This does preliminarily conform to the preliminary subdivision, which was covered during the PUD submittal. This will be heard at the April 7th Board of Alderman meeting. We're skipping a week because I think we have a quorum issue at the next board meeting. I did provide a proposed motion in your staff report, if you so see fit. And just like in the last phases of the downtown area of Delta Landing, the shaded area on the plat is the shared parking between the downtown buildings. And so that's the common open space you see in the rear of Lot 8 of 2.17 acres. Johnny's here tonight, as I mentioned, representing the application, and I'm available if you've got any questions.
Any question, Mr. Doe?
Johnny McBride, 4406 Davis Road. I'm here available if y'all have any questions. It's pretty similar to the other building. It's a little bigger, but basically the same footprint.
It's all retail on this one?
It's all retail on the first floor. It's lofts above.
How many bays in this?
I think it's in this one it's 15 bays of retail downstairs with one unit on the ground floor, and then there's 29 lofts I think in this one. Thank y'all.
Table this item.
I'll make a motion to grant final plat approval to Delta Landing Phase 8 commercial subdivision consisting of one lot of 2.17 acres west of McIngvale and south of Pleasant Hill in Section 31, Township 2 South, Range 7, based upon a finding that the submitted final plat generally conforms to the requirements of the city's code and ordinances subject to the following conditions, 1 through 10.
Commissioner Thorn? Commissioner Bowden?
Aye.
Commissioner Mashal?
Aye.
Commissioner Skibby?
Aye.
We should approve this item.
Next, we'll talk about the ordinance.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. So based on the feedback from our last meeting where we introduced the ideas that were presented from the ordinance committee, we made a few of the changes y'all had mentioned about the retail truck service center being moved to M1. And so we recommended to do that. All the stuff about mini storages and cannabis would be the same as our last month's proposal, is moving it to M1 for the mini storage, and then the cannabis facilities moved to conditional use in all of the commercial districts. Additionally, we've received a little bit of feedback from some of the board members about a couple of other things proposed, just at least bring up for discussion so we can bring them a recommendation. One would be the possible limitation of the number of neon signs in a window. And so we don't really have a huge problem with it yet. And right now, the way our ordinance reads is you're limited based on the percentage of coverage. There's not a specific limitation on neon. And so what we're seeing now is just like an open sign, which is exempt from the sign regulations as long as it's less than 1 square foot, which Chris and I have talked maybe upping that a little bit just because a regular welcome sign's a little bit bigger than that. But the proposal would be to limit, that's it. That's the only neon sign you get, is if you want an open sign, and limit it to that square footage. And we'll have to create a definition for that type of sign. And then in the prohibited section would insert any neon signs other than that definition. So that was something one of the board members brought up to me to bring for your feedback.
Would we also add, like, it can just say, like, the light has to stay on, so it's not flashing open?
I think we have something already where it says
Okay.
you can't flash it,
Okay.
and that's an ongoing battle. But we'd like to clean up the language where it's very specific what you
Gotcha.
can and can't have.
Is that per business, or is it based on, did you say by the number of total window space?
So we do it per business, and the window space is per pane. And so it's kind of a moving target, but generally you can have 20% of the windows covered with, a lot of times it's stickers of some sort, of a graphic. It gets kind of complicated at Christmas time because everybody does the cool decorations, and so obviously the intent's not to prohibit that, but it's to get rid of a lot of the blinking signs or a business that may just have complete fluorescent lights all throughout their window panes, and to kind of reel that back in.
Just in my case, because we have 2 separate front doors, 2 bays. Only one has a small windows.
I mean, technically, you've got a pretty unique case in there that they're separated bays. Typically, they're
Bay-
one
the
continuous.
half bay is splitting us. But then it also raises the question, and it's also a landlord issue too, what the landlord. Painted windows where they paint on them.
Uh-huh.
Landlord allows painted windows, but the city ordinance says no.
And honestly, figuring out exactly what 20% is kind of difficult sometimes. The intent is to keep a lot of times what you'll see is a solid screen of a matte printing of some sort of advertisement to cover all the windows where you can't see in, so it's kind of a safety thing. And then sometimes when you have so many fluorescent lights in the frontage of a business, it can be distracting. And so, and we're open for any feedback of stuff you maybe see. That's the intent, I think, of what the board's wanting to do, and how to codify that's what we're looking for
I
feedback
agree with
on.
Commissioner Hart about the flashing. And it's really a sensory issue. It's not just about flashing lights in the city. But sensory, what do you call them? Triggers, flashing lights.
And I also agree with it, open being the only word allowed. Because right now, that's not the only word lit up if you just drive down Commerce.
It is tough to not regulate the content, so we'll have to figure out a definition of what you're saying is, you can have a sign, there's probably a way to get around it, but we can't regulate exactly what the sign says.
I just mean in neon, like lit up.
If we limit the size, though, that's going to kind of take care of that issue. Right now, we have it at 1 square foot, but you and I talked about getting it a little bit larger, but they're not going to have a lot of space to have an open and something else on the sign.
So are we talking more about like restaurants and convenience stores that have multiple signs and different products?
Right,
lit up in their windows?
right.
That's really the issue, right, those types of.
That's generally who has them, yeah.
Because I was just thinking of what you're saying, if I owned a liquor store, I might want to.
And theoretically, if
be-
it's
that
less
would
than the
be
square
more
footage, you could
valuable.
have it.
Yeah, that would be more valuable to me than an open sign.
Okay.
I'm just looking at the other side of it.
Yeah.
Right. How do you define that?
I mean, I don't know if there's gonna be a great way, but by limiting the size, if it's just one sign that's very small in a window, if it's open or if the Coors Light sign is on, that means you're open. I guess it's the same thing. Because they may say, like, if I come up with a definition that says you can have a sign that signifies the businesses are open or closed, that person's interpretation may be the Coors Light sign being on.
So is it
Per business is the way it would.
business?
Mhm.
Certain circumstances, obviously, it's gotta be.
Right.
What
One
does
square
just?
foot is
okay.
really, that's pretty small.
It's very small.
I mean, there's a ton of the lots.
Oh, absolutely. So we do need to probably make that a bit larger, just to have a reasonable open sign is usually like a 2x2 or,
Just out of curiosity, what does enforcement look like on that? Like
It's-
if we do something new, if we change this, like, does that look like someone going out and saying to all these businesses, like, hey, you're not in compliance?
yeah, that's what we'll
Okay.
do.
And then what?
Yay, Kristen.
I mean, that's what, it's
Okay.
our code enforcement officer, it goes to court. and
Okay.
There's a process.
Okay.
It's an ongoing battle with window signage. We can get it taken down and then 2 months later.
Even, signs in the right of way, we don't have a code enforcement officer right now. He resigned about a month or two ago. And so on Friday, we just get in the truck and go and stop at intersections and grab them. And, I mean, we'll come back with 30 or 40 at a time.
Yeah.
So just food for thought. I mean, I don't know, this is not something, I don't think it's super pressing because it's not a major deal, but I think the general intent of bringing something to the board that says a limitation of some sort of neon signage in windows, and whether that's square footage or number or something, that's the feedback. And I think he wanted me to present it to y'all just to see if that was the general intent of the commission as well. Or it isn't not enough of a deal to have a rule about.
I would say just for the look of our city, we need a rule, just for the aesthetic of driving down Commerce Street.
The hard thing is, it's subjective, though, what is too restrictive?
That's the tough part.
Because it's a case by case, the type of business. Restaurant might want to have an open sign and
Mm,
The inside, they have to.
They're
They have
hanging on the walls
inside. I don't
inside.
think they have any else.
One way is to just look around other cities that you find appealing.
And then the other thing was, kind of a hot topic right now is data centers, which we don't have a definition for within our zoning ordinance, which we can get one. That's the easy part. But the policy decision is that how much do we want to welcome them or not? And that's, a lot of different cities are taking way different routes on that. Some are begging for them to come because of the tax revenue, and some are fighting them tooth and nail because of the environmental impact. So generally, I would recommend an industrial district at a minimum. And then you had mentioned some separation requirements from homes, whether that's a parcel or physical structure to structure of the distance requirements that are required to be, or industrial by conditional use, which kind of vets all that out by them coming in front of you.
Industrial by conditional use is probably, as would be my opinion, and then a certain distance from houses. And then also any sort of, I kind of looked it up, because this is kind of like what I brought this up. If anyone wants a data center, this is my fault. Located near any sort of, that would have any sort of environmental impact on anything like streams or anything like that. Is there something like that? Because I know it's been brought up when we've done subdivisions.
I mean, MDEQ is in charge of most of that, about their draw of electricity and resources. Ours usually is separation from homes and by the zoning district.
Do we restrict water usage? I see that in here too, like prohibit the use of potable water, cooling, and required closed-loop systems.
Yeah, I mean, that's a major policy decision of how that would work. I mean,
with all the problem we're having with water right now.
yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you.
For the data center, it still pulls off our power grid? I mean, the city's power grid?
It'd be through Entergy, which is our power supplier, which is through TVA, I believe, is the ultimate person. And usually when things like this come through, they're meeting with the governor type level conversations of TVA redirecting entire three-phase to a dedicated. So it's not like it would, I don't think, really affect houses. Like we'd lose power, but it'd be, I think the water is the bigger question with a lot of this.
From
to
my
cool it.
understanding is your electricity gets more expensive when they come in. Because the amount they need to use raises, you know what I mean? The
Yeah,
demand on the system.
it is logical. I just don't know.
I mean, it's anecdotal, but some friends of mine in South Haven are experiencing that with electricity and water.
Yeah.
And
so-
given, if there were a pattern of MD and EQ not doing what they're supposed to do in the situation, should we also have something written that kind of would pick up if they weren't, like written into our ordinances and zonings?
That's kind of my thought, like, yeah, you can, there's a whole bunch of people complaining about it in South Haven, but it's happening. So, I mean, it's already happening.
Right.
Wait, noise is a big thing, I see.
Mm-hmm.
You could have a restriction on.
I think we already do have a restriction on noise, don't we? Like,
Yeah.
We do have a noise ordinance. And honestly, I'm not familiar with enough of the ordinances that deal with these, but I mean, we could definitely research it.
What is, does South Haven's gotta have one, right, in place?
I don't think so. I think it was already zoned industrial. The TVA had a power plant immediately adjacent, and the water was not an issue. So it was like, it really was the most perfect situation I think where
they're
one could have
following the
gone.
rules. That's why I thought it would be a good idea to get ahead of it. That way,
Yeah.
it's like, because I guess technically right now we don't have any rules. They could do the same thing and bring one here.
How appealing is Hernando to one of these places? Like, I'm just asking, like,
I mean, it's,
what do you think the odds are? Like, South Haven, it's
I
a little
mean-
bigger, it's closer to Memphis, it's closer to where, like, the headquarters or whatever, for whatever that data center's running.
you need a bunch of power and a bunch of water. And the closer it is, the cheaper it is to do.
They're putting them in the middle of nowhere, too.
Okay,
Yeah, they
269 corridor.
Worked
is-
on a little one, like, about half.
that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever they can put them with the least amount of effort. Like right now, we don't have any rules. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I think we could say it needs industrial zoning just because of the size of the building and the nature of the use. which we have industrial zoning, but like you mentioned with the price of our land and then where our utilities are, I don't know how feasible it would be just throwing up like.
Yeah,
But
that's what I was asking.
it's changing so fast too, because like it feels like every month it evolves in some way. Like even in South Haven, they're building the second computer as we speak on the other side of the state line.
Annex Arca-Butler and put it out there.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't want to be naive to say like the tax benefit to the city of South Haven and DeSoto County is tremendous with public safety. And so like the numbers that are coming around with the valuation of the structure of the tax roll is huge. And so I don't want to be so restrictive where they don't have an opportunity to come, because if it's the right spot in DeSoto County or in Hernando, I think it would be a game changer for our municipal government.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I want to put I'm not trying to completely like lock them out, even though I don't want them.
Mhm.
But, 'cause I think the cons outweigh the benefits. Like you're saying, tremendous, but then you see people like having to listen to that low level hum, like right next to their house.
Absolutely.
And then their water's brown, and then I've done a lot of research into this. Like I understand the tax benefits, and I'm not saying
Yeah,
lock
but
them out.
to your point, at what cost?
Yeah.
I mean, we can like triple fold the municipal government revenue.
Right.
I like the idea of the dedicated, like you can't take away from any municipal source of water or the closed loop electrical system. All those things are really neat ideas.
Yeah, or whatever. AI helped me out. Seriously, I just typed it in. Like,
I wonder if it gave you a real answer because you were using a data center to.
they were
Oh, yeah.
they were pretty
That's
legit. I mean, they were the ones that gave me the water usage restrictions, and I wonder about that too.
You're searching and somebody up in South Haven is feeling.
Yeah.
We can definitely do some research.
I'm probably on a hit list, but for your just so everyone knows, I know someone that rents houses to the people that are working on these. He told me he rents the house, like prices no, they rent the houses for $7,000 a month. Prices no, and these are the Elon Musk people. Like prices no, there's no. He's like, I could charge them $20,000 a month and they would pay it. When I go to the gym with. It's amazing the people you meet at a gym, but yeah. So the cost of our land means nothing.
Yeah.
They'll just buy it.
I'll pull some ordinances from other cities and bring it back to the next meeting. And then all the stuff that I think, agree on, I'll probably bring the signs back to y'all one more time. But everything else seemed to be pretty streamlined to go to the board and get their feedback. And they may kick it back or they may want to codify it and move it forward, so.
Progress.
And then, can I
Data
add?
centers, that's, I mean, if you look at our comprehensive plan and the questionnaire that was sent out, like.
That's
nobody-
not part of it.
Nobody wants,
Yeah.
people want more nature and
Yeah.
green
Yeah.
space and
It-
not
every
more industrial.
every single environmental impact you hear about is just terrible.
And does anyone have any thoughts on on-street parking? Because I know it's been brought up before. Yeah,
As restricting.
just in general, I
I
guess.
haven't given much thought.
Because I got up and spoke about not restricting it, but then there are certain cases where I feel like it can be, like where you have your own like lane parking, like your own private parking,
It's
and then
about
you're
it's a
also
width of
parking on the
road,
street.
right? 'Cause some subdivisions have.
We have some no parking streets already because of the width of the road.
Work district. No, but when people park on the side of the road, it's almost impact.
Yeah, stuff like that, but like, so for example, I live on the corner of Magnolia and another street, but Magnolia, there's a section of Magnolia where they have rear parking, but most of them, because I guess it's not quick enough, park in front. Causes, like you're saying, the streets are narrower. So they're having to cross over into the other lanes when they could just park behind their house where they have a four stall driveway and
So if you have an off-street
there should be,
There should
I
be
don't, maybe no overnight parking.
driveway over overnight
You'll have an HOA that would.
I'm not part of that neighborhood. That's like a neighborhood but I think we discussed this because we don't even know who owns those, we don't even know.
The alleys.
Yeah, who owns like, it's not part of this, the city doesn't maintain them, but the residents also don't maintain them.
That's south of
think,
the
right?
circle? you're talking
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, so, it's past the cemetery?
about? Yeah. Okay, I know where you're at.
Yeah.
Do we know if any residents have complained or called in or said anything? Like,
Just me, probably.
oh, I was just wondering.
There's another lady, her name is Terry, I'm sure y'all know who Terry is, or the police know who Terry is, but she calls all the time. She's the local. But,
That's in South Haven, it was a big.
Well, it's through the police because you have to run the tag because a lot of ordinances read like you can't park in front of your house on the street. Well, we were getting calls of people that lived in the house that said, hey, someone's parked in front of my house and I don't know who it is. They're not supposed to be there. I was like, well, our ordinance says you're dealing with it. But so it needs to go through the police so they can run the tag because it's an on-street violation. It's like speeding because you're on the street in the public right-of-way on the violation. And so I don't know if it's a case by case, like if there's certain streets we need to restrict one or the other, or if we need to get with the police department and come up with like a actual ordinance of if the street is this narrow, you cannot park on the
I
street.
guess that's why I was bringing it up, because I know Chad Wicker, Alderman Wicker, has brought it up before, and that's when I got up and spoke and been like, hey, there's some houses where they have two, like even in my neighborhood, where they have 2-car pads, and could be three cars that live in that house, so where's the third car supposed to park?
Sure.
In the yard or on the street? That was my opposition to it, which I agree to that. But but if you have off-street parking, then there's plenty of parking in the back for you to park. You don't need to park in the front. I just
So like, get with
thoughts, I
the-
guess.
Get with the police department to kind of call it a stone.
I'll check with Chief. See, he may already have something worked up.
That's a good place to start with the width of the street.
I was just worried, the reason why I brought it up, I was just worried something would happen and it would be way more restrictive than what needs to be. Because I think I think his opinion was no street parking, right?
I don't know. I think it's based on the width of the street. But I mean, we can circle back with him. He's on the ordinance committee, so.
The thing I get frustrated with is my neighbor, whoever has tail end of my whole street, and they park right there. So
Yeah.
I'm sure there's probably rules
Yeah,
to
don't
how
park at the
close
end of
to.
my- Don't park at the end of my driveway.
No, like you're not supposed to park a certain distance from the corner probably, and that's never enforced. There's probably in front of driveways, you're not supposed to park in front of mailboxes, right?
I think the Postal Service has something about that. We've got fire hydrants as a rule. The
Yeah.
distance to a stop sign and intersection is a rule, so I'm just not familiar enough.
And then we were just talking like parking the wrong way, like people will park the wrong way, the face into traffic. That's another one, that's another pet peeve.
There's a code enforcement position available.
I know, right? I would be the most hated person in the city if that
That's
was.
not
But it's another one of those things where we don't want it to be too restrictive, because I was thinking like, we host a small group at our house once a week. If 3 families
Yeah.
are at my house, like, they're pretty close to my neighbor's driveway. I mean, my neighbor doesn't seem to mind. If they do, they've never said it to me. But like, where's the line? Like, that has to be allowed.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. I don't want it to be too restrictive, but like, hey, police, could you at least enforce some of this stuff?
To me, it's, I don't know, I know it's an aesthetic thing, but also if sometimes it can get in the way of emergency services. You know, if it's a narrow street and people are parking on both sides and there's some tight, I drive through some tight stuff in my neighborhood.
try to go down East Oak Grove at nighttime. It's like one of those windy, weavy ones, and there's cars parked on both sides, and you have to like look around and see if someone's coming before you go around a car. But kind of stuff like that, I guess.
What was our, sorry, switching back to signs, what did we arrive at with the signage? We said that, I understand the scale was going up a little bit for bigger buildings, but what did we decide about like the window space being covered by not neon signs? Did we decide that was gonna take away from their overall signage?
I don't think so. I think we left it at 20%. Anything over 20% would count towards their
Okay.
attached signage, which is
Okay.
how we do it now.
Okay, okay, that's awesome.
And then the other thing was the design regs, limiting the materials to brick. So we got less EFS and less CMU. And on the weekends where businesses are allowed to have the flags if they wish.
And the inflatable animals.
And then the scale that you were talking about increased to 124, but it's still limited 1-to-1. So if you're less than the 124, it's still scaled the same.
Right.
So I'll take that to the board, and then I'll come back with some better information on data centers, and then
What subplace was that?
maybe some information on on-street parking.
We do, we have.
That would be
we
a-
have suit.
That would be a way to get around it, wouldn't it?
Should I make a motion to adjourn at this point?
Sure.
Motion to adjourn.
All right.
I gotta pay here.
Second.
I gotta pay labor.
Yeah.